we get too deeply into what the Bible is, who trusts it, and how we got a hold of the canon, that's the 66 individual books that make up the Bible, or the present versions of the Bible that we have today, it's important to see what the Bible has to say about itself. So before we try to make any claims about what we think the Bible is, or what other people ascribe to the Bible, well, let's go through a couple of important passages of Scripture to see what claims the Bible makes. We are looking at two very popular scriptures today. 2 Timothy 3:16 and 17 says, "All scripture is God-breathed and is used for teaching, rebuking, correcting, and training in righteousness, so that the man of God may be thoroughly equipped for every good work." Well, let's break the scripture down into smaller sections so we can get what was being said. First of all scripture is God-breathed. We'll talk about that idea of God-breathed on the section on inspiration, so just hold on to that phrase for a moment. All scripture is God-breathed and is useful. So reading, knowing, and understanding the Bible is not simply a requirement for someone to be in good standing with God or church. It actually makes a difference in our lives, and it's useful for the following reasons: teaching, rebuking, correcting, and training in righteousness. Sometimes I think it is important to note that as much as we value autonomy and individuality, there have to be voices from the outside that can correct us and train us and set us straight when we go wrong. Everybody's entitled to an opinion, and everyone's opinion is valued. Everyone's worth and frame of reference is valued. But when we're talking about matters, particularly of doctrine or right thinking, there are certain right things and certain wrong things. There are certain true things about God and some things that are not true about God at all. The Bible is useful in instructing us in those ways. It's useful for instructing us in correcting and training in righteousness and in rebuking us so that the man of God may be thoroughly equipped for every good work. Now, whenever the Bible, particularly in the New Testament, says the man of God, this isn't a gender-exclusive statement, but a reference belonging to first century Palestine, where the man was the head of the household. So by speaking to the man, they are speaking to the whole household, family members, slaves, servants. Now, in addition to this scripture, we look at the Bible as being referenced to as the very words of God. It's a perfect guide for life. The Bible, according to Psalm 119:2, is pure, true, flawless, perfect, effective, precious, and powerful. Nothing is to be taken from or added to the Bible, according to Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 2. Sometimes it's popular to think that there's a lot of extra space between Jude and Revelation, where we could insert modern 21st century theology or doctrine. However, it's critical for us to realize that nothing should be added to or taken from the canon of the Scripture. The Bible is a book written by a particular group of people, dealing predominantly with the promises of God for those people. However, it isn't just for them. Because of the person and work of Christ, the biblical message has become available to everyone. But just because the Bible is for everyone doesn't mean that everyone can make the Bible into whatever they want it to be. The Bible makes claims to be exclusive. It claims to be rule-giving and rule-setting, to be a standalone document for the Christian faith. And it demands that it is to be obeyed. And we see this in James chapter 1, verse 22.